So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Peter Mandelson's comments saying Northern Ireland Protocol doesn't fit easily with the Good Friday Agreement, which is a load of nonsense, let's be honest here. The former EU Commissioner warned unionists it's not going to be scrapped, so concentrate on creating an acceptable version, which the EU have been trying to do for like over a year, I think a year and a half now. The Northern Ireland Protocol does not fit easily with the Good Friday Agreement, according to Mandelson, saying that he warned the Irish Sea Border Treaty had created predictable tensions in the country. And were they predictable? Probably. The protocol stops a hard border on the island of Ireland and allows Brexit to happen, so it actually protects the Good Friday Agreement. On the tensions point, it's from insecure unionists who are having an identity crisis, which they just keep crying about it and they keep getting what they want. The former EU Commissioner and Secretary of State for Northern Ireland said the protocol should not be applied strictly, but warned the DUP it would never be scrapped entirely. It's not being applied strictly though. The checks happening in the Irish Sea are lower than the ones happening at the French border, so unless he wants things to be rubber stamped, I don't know what he wants here. Being honest, remember I'm both a former Northern Ireland Secretary as well as a European Trade Commissioner. The protocol, when applied strictly, does not easily fit alongside the Good Friday Agreement, he told the Belfast Telegraph. Again, it's not being applied strictly. The UK has even unilaterally extended grace period, so it's not being properly applied at all. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister, everyone remembers him, has also warned that the protocol risks undermining the Good Friday Agreement that ended the Troubles because it does not have support from unionists, who fear the treaty drives a wedge between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. And the thing is, international treaties don't need consent from the unionists. Brexit did not have cross-community consent either, so his point doesn't make sense. The DUP pulled out of the Northern Ireland Assembly, Stormont, in opposition to the protocol in February, which is a long time ago now, isn't it? They've refused to re-enter power sharing with Sinn Féin after it became the largest party in the Stormont elections in May, until the protocol is removed or replaced, which is not going to happen. They claim there are legal and constitutional issues. We have experienced a compromise in Northern Ireland, but both sides need to work to soften the protocol. It's not going to be scrapped. So my advice to unionists is to concentrate on creating an acceptable version of it. The protocol originally was a compromise on both sides. You have UK officials carrying out the checks on behalf of the EU. Which other border does the EU allow that to happen in? I'll wait. So it's just nonsense. The DUP do need to think seriously about what kind of landing zone in relation to the protocol that they're willing to accept. And, in my opinion, they're not going to do that. They want it gone. We have to accept that there have always been difficult trade-offs to be made, but the economic advantage of keeping Northern Ireland's unique position in relation to both GB and the EU single market outweighs the legal and constitutional crisis that derives from the protocol, he told the Belfast Telegraph. UK-EU negotiations are highly unlikely to reach a deal before October the 28th, deadline which will trigger fresh elections in Northern Ireland in December unless the DUP returns to Stormont. And given that there's yet another Tory leadership race, I don't think the Stormont election will be delayed at all, given that this article was written before Liz Truss disappeared. And you've got, different ministers who will be in place. Mandelson said there may be a case for delaying an election in the very short term if there was a chance of finding a protocol deal that unlocks the institutions, which I just don't think will happen. London published the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill, which hands ministers the power to unilaterally tear up parts of the protocol. And, I'm not even sure what happens with that bill now. Was Sunak going to push it through? Does he have any intent to use it? And I'm saying Sunak, I don't know who will be PM by the time this... by the end of the week, we don't know yet. There's another race. The government has toned down its threats to use legislation which the EU says breaks international law. Amid renewed optimism, a deal could be struck before the 25th anniversary celebration of the Good Friday Agreement in April next year, which it is cool that it's lasted so long, but given the amount of strain the unionists put it under, it's not great. Truss told a meeting of Brexiteer Tory MPs on Tuesday that she would stick to her red lines over the protocol in talks with Brussels, and she's gone now. What Sunak, who is most likely going to PM, will do is a mystery. So we don't know what's going to happen. There could be new elections in Stormont for all we know. There might be new elections in Stormont purely because the Tories won't have anyone to sort this mess out. There's no one really going to be negotiating with Sefcovic because it's meant to be cleverly, but obviously he's going to be replaced as Foreign Secretary by someone else. So I don't know who Sunak will pick as Foreign Secretary. He might pick, Penny Mordaunt, for example. We have no idea. So we don't know what's going to happen with Stormont. Effectively, it's been closed since February. Chances are there'll be another election, and I think the DUP might lose even more support. Who the support will go to, I don't know, but it's not looking too promising for them. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.